Dingzhou, an ancient city in Hebei Province, China, dating back more than 2,000 years, served as a strategic place throughout history. This city has numerous historical sites. In the downtown area of this city, there is a tomb constructed during the Han Dynasty. Even though the identity of the tomb owner remains a mystery, the scale of this tomb is still impressive. This is the story of this ancient tomb. About 2,400 years ago, the Xianyu people created a state around this area called Zhongshan State, which literally means the state built around the mountain. This city was the capital. About 300 years later, after the founding of the Han Dynasty, the name of this area remained Zhongshan State. In the year 1995, archaeologists who excavated this tomb speculated the tomb owner was one of the kings of the Zhongshan state of the Han Dynasty, but they couldn't be sure due to the lack of direct evidence. Before going down into the burial chamber, let's take a detour first. This mound is called the tumulus. It's the grave mound with the burial chamber right underneath. In ancient China, the scale of the grave mound varies depending on the position of the tomb owner. At a height about 7 meters, ordinary people would never be able to have such a grave mound. As for the emperors, the grave mounds of their mausoleums would be literally a hill. This structure is the ventilation shaft. We will see it from underground later. Going down this staircase and passing through some corridor, we are at the entrance of this tomb. Originally, there should have been a stone gate here. It's been gone already. That ventilation shaft is right above. From here, we can see the end of this tomb. It's the typical layout of the tombs of the Han Dynasty, which reigned from 206 BC to 220 AD. As I always say, one of the key features of Chinese architecture is symmetry. The passage ahead of us is the central path, or central axis. These two chambers on each side of the central path are called ear chambers, as they look just like ears on people's heads. Inside these chambers were burial goods. The chamber on the right was a storage room for food, beverages, and wine. The one on the left was an arsenal with weapons inside. The potteries we see are just replicas. Ancient Chinese believed that every utensil used during life should be carried into the afterlife. So, there always be huge amounts of burial goods inside big tombs. That's why tomb looting was quite usual in ancient China. This tomb was no exception. In the year 1995, when archaeologists excavated this tomb, there was barely anything inside. As it turns out, this place has been looted several times throughout history. Frankly, it feels a little creepy inside this tomb. The lighting here is very dim. It also feels cold and damp. Passing through a corridor, we will see the middle chamber. This place is roughly equal to the living room or the meeting room. There used to be some daily necessities inside this chamber, like lamps and tables. At the end of this 30-meter tunnel is the back chamber, where the coffin is placed. This glass showcase is a modern thing, obviously. the jade clothing inside is also a replica. The fact archaeologists found jade pieces inside this tomb suggests that the tomb owner was a high-ranking figure. Inside the local museum, there is a set of jade clothing after restoration. This clothing was found inside another tomb in this area. Interestingly, there are Chinese characters on the ceiling of this tomb, as if the tomb owner was still reading at his final resting place. Also, the back chamber is located on the right side of the central axis, meaning the gate of the back chamber is not in the middle. This phenomenon can also be seen in some other tombs from the Han Dynasty. The wall beside the gate would serve as a screening wall, and the coffin would be placed behind this wall. As a tomb made of bricks, the main structure of this tomb remains intact. Archaeologists only found some fragments of burial goods and some pottery inside the tomb. From the tomb style and the potteries, experts can only determine that this tomb belonged to a high-level person from the Han Dynasty, but they couldn't tell who it was to be exact. What can be sure is this tomb was constructed more than 1800 years ago. Unless further evidence can be found, the identity of the tomb owner will remain a mystery.